Hello and welcome, crafty friends. It's Nicola here at Creative West Aussie. Here's what we're using for inspiration, the stamps as well as the sequins for embellishments. This collection is called Good Vibes, and here's what I have left of that. It was a VIP release from Close to My Heart. Here are the stickers that I have left, plus a couple of zip strips. I've taken the cardstock out to show you what matches the back of the zip strip. So that's Espresso, Glacier, Lemonade, Nectarine, Sage and Sundance. I only used Nectarine. I'm bringing in my Versamats, and because I'm doing a demo for a double page, I'm using two of them. I scrapbook chronologically, so these have already been assigned. Here I have written on there in pencil. I use temporary adhesive for this, but I have a clear corner already in place for the white stock. This has a reinforcement on either side. I've got something on the back, so I'm just making sure that I don't get adhesive on the photos. I'm now going to rub out the titles so that I can start working on it. Now I'm going to bring in the Make It from the Heart guide, and I'm going to follow the instructions to cut up my paper as it shows here. It's like a pattern, which I really enjoy using. I don't think the first two pieces of paper were meant to be 1 inch each, but that's what I've done and that'll be fine. Again, I'm checking what's next, and it's the zip strips, and that was written down, so I'm gluing that down. And they're just 1/2 inch, and I'll flip over this bit that has that information on there featuring the colours that I talked about earlier. Now that's done, the third pieces will measure from the guide 2.5 inches for the first piece, which I'm showing here, and the second piece is 6.5 inches. So I'll pop them straight down. In hindsight, I would have liked to have inked the edges before putting them down, but I didn't notice it till after. It was too late to lift it back up. The APG is quite permanent as far as I'm concerned. These two photos I've already matted in the Nectarine. The other two here have already got the white border around them from developing, and this one is a photo placement card just for privacy reasons. The fourth paper component for this page I've pre-cut, but looking at this plan, I'm not sure that I want them down the bottom here. So, well, they measure 3 inches wide, but then this shorter one is only 9 inches long. So I think I'm going to move it up here a bit. Oh yeah, I think that looks better. Yep. I'll see a bit more of them there. So I'm sticking them down 10 inches from the top, which is quite easy to tell with the Versamat. However, the second piece is a bit trickier, so I'm using my T-square ruler. Sticking the photos down, I use the Creative Memories tape runner, just one bit on every corner. On the right, you can see that I stuck the bottom one down too close to the edge, so I use my multi-purpose tool to quickly remove it. Now I'm moving on to the embellishments. I'm stamping some of my own. This is a quote using a brown ink. It was Kokuyo, which wasn't exactly the same as Espresso, but it will work. It says, "All the best memories are made in the sand." It doesn't get glued down to after I'm finished filming, but I liked it so much I couldn't leave it out. Here, these other two, this Buggy's going to make it, and I like this one for the title. So using the white cardstock, I use the packaging from the back to get a good print, priming the stamp before I put it down, and practicing on a piece of scrap paper to get it right. And as I do it, it comes out perfectly, which is fabulous. Now, for the next phase, because I'm using that bigger stamp, I decided to use my Misty. It's the small one that I have, and I don't know if you can tell, but when I do the close-up, this one turns out a little bit blotchy. Now that's because I didn't do the priming. So when I do the second one, it works a lot better. I've used a chalkboard eraser for getting nice pressure from the ink, and I also clean the stamp and put it away as I go, as I find it helps with not losing them, but it keeps my craft area clean. By the way, I just use an old Enyo star cloth that I've cut up, and I just dampen and clean my stamps with. So here it is. I'm now going to cut it down to a size I'm happy with, which I, by the way, jagged straight away. And as I put it in there, I realise it's perfect. However, I get my ink blending tools out to do a little bit extra around the edge, and then once I've actually completed that, I decide I wouldn't mind a bit more, so I bring in the Tim Holtz mat here to do a little bit extra. It's not quite, I should have used the glass tool, but it's not much to make a difference. Look at that. I'm thinking of making the other buggy with a circle, but can you see I've left the top bit out, and I've done that on my Gemini Junior. Notice I'm still determined to get this piece in, and after fiddling around with it a bit, I decide to edge this second buggy as well. Now for the stickers, which I've placed on wax paper so I can audition where to put them and change my mind. I'm picking what's left of that will go with my photos. See, I'm trying to figure out where some will go even now. I like that one there, and some of them are going down easy, and others I'm like fiddling around with and going, no, don't want to put it back on there. See the sun, that's in there, didn't make the grade. Anyway, it takes me a while to decide on where things are going to go, and some things like I fiddle and I lift up, there you go, and then I play around, and other things like I move over, and then I still can't get that butterfly in there. So it takes me a while to find out where I want to put everything, and I've sped it up a couple of, well, doubled it in some instances and trebled it in others, but it still only took me an hour. See, look, that one went in straight away. Does anybody else find that? Because I'm right at the end of using this collection, see, I'm like trying to use every little last morsel. Look, that one went straight away. Look, that one went straight away. That round one there, oh my gosh, I can't decide where to put that. Goes on, goes off, goes on, goes off. Anyway, see, that one goes straight down. So look, oh, and I finally find a home for that one right at the bottom. Yay! That's going to have the date on it. So in an earlier video, I used this same collection, and I mentioned this would be filmed shortly, so here it is. But in case you didn't see that one and you'd like to, stay tuned till the end, and I'm going to pop it in so that you can just press on it and watch that one. But there you go, using up all the final little pieces of this. So nice to get a set nearly completely used. Ta-da! So after I've done all that, I'm now going to put in the journaling. I've decided to put these underneath here, and they're 1/4 inch apart. I usually do it in pencil first. This way I can gauge how far down I want to go, and I see I look and go, oh, no, I'll do a couple more. It's nice to have your handwriting in there, and also it helps me to see how it's going to fit, and then sometimes I can change it depending on, you know, how it fits in there. So finally I do it in the permanent pen, and then my final tip for today is when I finish, I rub out in a circular motion. So, you know, you should let it dry, but just in case, it won't leave any smeary marks. It will, if it does it, if you're doing it in a circular one, it's not so noticeable. I'm a bit impatient, aren't I? So here's the close-ups. All the things I use I'll add in the description as per usual. You may have to press the button that says more now. It looks a little bit different on YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Bye for now.